Bo Nickal
No,
seems
he does
far
not.
too, oh my God, speak of the devil, there he is, and he shall appear. I was literally just about to say, Bo Nickal doesn't strike me as the kind of guy to let one down. You know what I mean? You seem like a very dependable guy, Bo.
Yeah, I try to be for sure.
It's that wrestling mentality, the discipline just built into you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's interesting. I didn't really realize that people were late to practice or missed. That was never really an occurrence to me until I started fighting MMA. And now I'm like, oh, wow. Okay. That's interesting. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Not my style.
Well, no, exactly. You know, in the wrestling room, you know, that will not fly. But I'm sure at this point now you must be accustomed to Brazilian time.
Yeah, I am. You know, I'm fortunate. I have two Brazilian coaches, and they're like, I think the anomalies because they're always ready to go. So I think I've been fortunate.
Okay.
I've seen other people, and it's definitely it's its own thing for sure.
Yeah. No, it used to piss me off, man. It used to piss me off because I would drive when I was back in England. It was like an 80-minute drive to the gym, and I still get there on time. And all the people that lived like 5-10 minutes away, they'd rock in like 20-30 minutes late. I'm like, what the hell are we doing, guys?
Right.
Anyway, Bo, thank you for joining us. I appreciate your time today. How is preparation for the big UFC 300 going?
Prep's been great. You know, I feel awesome. I think that it's been, obviously a long time since I was able to compete last. And I think that's been a really good thing for me, just to continue to grow and develop and mature as a mixed martial artist. And, just with everything happening as fast as it has, that time has been really, really beneficial for me. So I feel really just excited to compete. I think I've made a lot of gains and improvements, and just, all healthy and everything. So feeling grateful for that, and just excited to get out there and fight again.
Yeah, July 2023. Sorry, I was just looking up the fight card there as you were talking. So it's going to be 8-9 months or so. So that is quite a break. It's certainly when you're starting off your career. What has been a big focus for you in that time?
I think just overall development, right? Like, because of how quick my trajectory has kind of shot me up into where I'm at in my position within the sport, I feel like I just needed time to let my other skills develop. Of course, striking's a big part of that. So I've been working a lot of striking, but mostly just like fundamental stuff. I think that people a lot of times developing maybe skip the fundamentals of a lot of certain different aspects of combat sports when you're in MMA, because it's like, all right, well, like this is how to throw a jab, and then all of a sudden you're sparring. And I don't know that that's necessarily the best way to get better quickly and improve. So for me, it's always back to the fundamentals. And that was actually something for me that I had to relearn getting into collegiate wrestling. I was always a really good wrestler, really competitive. I knew how to win, but you almost have to relearn the fundamentals when you get to a new level. And so for me, I try to take that same mindset and apply that to now I'm learning boxing and kickboxing and Muay Thai and jiu-jitsu. And then it's my job to take all those fundamentals and all that solid technique and figure out how to blend it and combine it to make it work for me in a mixed martial arts fight, right? Because at the same time, while it's good to know those fundamentals and the basics, it's still MMA.
Yeah, no, for sure. The fundamentals, they're often so overlooked because people want to do the spinning wheel kicks. They want to do a flying knee. They want to do these big, outlandish, show-stealing moments or moves, should I say. As you were saying that, I thought about this. Have you noticed, and I don't expect you to criticize mixed martial arts training, because it would seem elitist of you. But where I'm going with this is, so you've been a wrestler at the highest level, you pretty much your entire life. Wrestling has been around for a very long time. So I'm assuming there's a tried and tested, proven method of how to train wrestlers. You know what I mean? You do your drills, you do your warm up, you do your drilling, you do your lives, you do your situational stuff. Mixed martial arts, with it being such a young sport, I've experienced good coaches, bad coaches. I've experienced coaches that don't really know what they're doing. I've experienced coaches that are kind of making it up as they go along, and they're kind of lying to everybody in the room. What has been your kind of experience in that regard? And have you had any frustrations along the way?
Oh, for sure. I think that initially getting into it, you just really don't know who actually knows what they're talking about and who doesn't. And so for me, there's been just a learning curve of trying to figure that out. And I think that when I look at coaches and people that I respect and want to listen to, they all have one thing in common, and that's like a system, right? So it's very like they analyze and they collect data, and then they have a system of how they're going to go about whatever it is they're coaching and positionally, teach people kind of conceptually, rather than like, all right, this is going to be the combo today. We're going to throw a jab, cross, hook, and then shoot. It's like, well, that's not how a fight goes. It's not choreography. So, but when you have a system and when you can kind of think about it positionally, that's when I just, it clicks to me. And I feel like that guy, that coach is somebody that I trust and who I feel like knows what they're actually talking about. And so that's, I think, in wrestling, kind of a standard, right? Like there's a lot of different systems for different programs and different coaches, but it's like they all have almost a curriculum of sorts that they teach, and they go over stuff year in, year out, whether that's with guys that have been in the program for a long time or new guys coming in. That's how it was for us at Penn State. We all have certain positions that we're going over and training on a very regular basis. And, so that way it just takes a lot of the guesswork out.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you're 5-0, still very, very young in your career, but it seems like you're a smart guy. It seems like you got a good head on your shoulders and a good understanding of the game and what you're saying there about systems and things. One of the things that is a big challenge for fighters is when you're in a fight, it's such a high adrenaline moment. You know what I mean? You're always talking about calming yourself down. I used to try and get angry and mad, which I learned through trial and error is not the way to be. You want to try and slow it all down in your mind. How are you when you're in there? It's only 5 fights. How in control of your emotions are you at this stage of your career?
I feel really relaxed and really calm. And I think that, while I've only had 5 fights, I think that just is through thousands of wrestling matches and, competing. Something that's really cool, the NCAA wrestling tournaments this weekend. And, so I'm kind of watching on television and stuff. And these guys are going to wrestle, the guys who win are going to wrestle 5 matches in front of 30,000 people across 3 days. So, that's to me more than enough preparation to keep a cool head in an MMA fight. And it is more pressure and it is more intense, MMA for sure. But I feel like because I have that experience with me, I feel prepared for it, right? Like that's something that I think I'm head and shoulders above the rest of my competition as far as like how to keep a level head in those intense moments. Because nobody has that experience like I have. And it was something that I was used to as a kid in high school and college, just big matches, big crowds, environments. And now it's just another step up, but I feel prepared.
So let me ask you this, and don't take this the wrong way. It's a question. It's not an accusation or anything. In fighting, you got to be able to be the hammer and the nail at times. So far, you've been the hammer every single time. Round one, all 5 wins are in the first round. How do you think, and for your sake, I hope it continues like that. That's what we all want. But one would think at some point you're going to run into a bit of adversity. Someone's going to be able to, give you a good test. You're not Superman at the end of the day. Have you thought about that? Are you able to take a kicking and keep on ticking?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that initially, of course, I want my hardest training moments and competition, my hardest moments and to come in training, right, rather than competition. So that's why I'm putting myself in environments like American Top Team. I was able to spend a few weeks down in Florida for this camp. So, I'm training with some of the top guys in the world, Marvin Vettori, Johnny Eblin, guys like this who are extremely seasoned and have fought the best of the best. So, I think that for me,
I bet Marvin hates going with you because I know Marvin. He's a friend of mine. Do you know what I mean? Bo Nickal in the room is like, for crying out loud. Listen, we want to get better at takedown defense, but I want to get some work in for crying out loud.
I think we're great for each other because, while obviously I have a wrestling edge, he's just got such a, experience in MMA overall, fought for the belt. And that's something that is super valuable. So I think we're really good for each other and we can help each other maybe where the other person lacks a little bit. So those are the type of environments I'm putting myself in. And that way, hopefully, people say the cliche, right? Like train hard, fight easy or something like that. But for me, I honestly kind of am like excited for the idea of somebody being able to make it past a round with me, or to like hit me, or just, put me in a position where I have to they resist me a little bit, because it's literally been zero resistance for my whole career. So for me as a competitor, as somebody who I'm doing this sport because I love it, because I enjoy it, I want to continue to get better and improve. Like, I want to feel that adversity, and I want to feel a little resistance. So, hopefully my next opponent can do that. And at least I would love it if I could make it to the second round. So for me, that's something I'm looking forward to more so than dreading. I want to be, not that I want to get hit, like, no, getting hits never fun. But I want to feel like some type of resistance against, because that's going to happen at some point. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah. I'm smirking here, not because of the audacity of you. It's because I know what you're capable of, and I'm not kissing your ass or anything like that. But it's an unusual desire. You know what I mean? I want to meet the man that can push me or even get me to the second round. And as I say, I know you're not saying that from a position of arrogance. You're just aware of your capabilities. So talk to me about Cody Brundage. Cody Brundage, he's a big, strong guy. Last time he took out Zachary Reese, it was a slam in the first round. Took out Jacob Malkoon before that. How do you assess this guy?
Yeah, I think that he's a dangerous opponent. I think he's a step up from the competition that I've had in the past, which is good for me. I want to continue to take incremental steps up in competition. He has a few UFC wins, and obviously a lot of people have seen his last fight with a slam knockout. And he comes from a wrestling background as well, so he's a collegiate wrestler. So I think that he poses a few problems that maybe I haven't had to deal with in a real fight before. That being said, I feel like I'm very well prepared for this. And going into the fight, just a guy you got to respect because he has big power. He has, like I said, a slam knockout. He has a knockout off a counterpunch. He has knockdowns on multiple guys like in the UFC. So definitely big power. But at the same time, I think that for me, I have better cardio. I feel like I fight a little bit more intelligently. And I think I'm honestly, he's probably been fighting quite a bit longer than me, but I think I'm much more well-rounded, even considering I'm less experienced. So I feel like wherever the fight goes, I'll be prepared for that. And, my style is go for the finish. So position, I'll be in there making sure I don't see him lasting with me for too long. But I think wherever the fight goes, I'll be ready to, just continue to be in good position and then finish the fight, whether that's on the feet or on the ground.
Yep. And I look forward to that test. You must have seen a little bit of negativity from people talking about the position of you on this landmark event, right? I mean, people are going to hate, right? They talk shit just for the sake of it. What is your take on all of this?
I think it's kind of funny. I just feel like it's weird that people would be mad about that just because it has it's not my decision. So, you could be mad at me for where I'm at, but it doesn't change it really. And I'm just grateful for the opportunity to, compete on this card. It's an amazing card. There's so many amazing fighters. And I just feel like the fans don't realize a couple of things. One, no matter where you fight on the card, like you're getting paid the same and the pay-per-view costs the same. Like you're still going to be able to watch the fight. It doesn't really matter.
That's a good point.
Unless you're main event or co-main event, like it's kind of a wash. So if they put me first fight on the prelims or, wherever, I wouldn't really care because I just want to fight. And I would actually rather go earlier. That way I can get home and, just enjoy my evening and not have to be out so late. But for me, I think the benefit of being on the main card is, my opponent won't have ever really experienced something like that. I've already been on the main card in 2 UFC fights, 2 big events as well, 285 and 290. And so, I know what that's going to feel like. And I think that's just another tactical advantage for me. And it's interesting. A lot of people have said a lot of things before my fights, but whenever I get in the arena, it seems like everybody's cheering for me. Maybe that's all I hear, but that's what it seems.
No. I agree. The last fight when you walked out, in fact, both of them actually, the 2 on pay-per-view, whenever you walked out, you got a good pop. I mean, you've definitely got the American fan base behind you, and rightly so. As mixed martial arts, in fact, before I get to that, I'll ask you this. there doesn't seem to be any controversy around you. There's no shit talk. Yes, of course, you're confident in your abilities. At what point do you think, what would somebody have to say to really get under your skin to have Bo Nickal kind of lose his shit a little bit?
I don't know. I don't really.
You've got the whole, I'm representing America. Like if you're traveling international with the wrestling team, you're representing your country and, you've got that whole vibe. But what if you're at a press conference and someone says something about you? Listen, I'll show you in the ring. At what point do we get that Bo Nickal?
I feel like, I'm not sure. I feel like, again, I'm like you said, I'm a nice guy. I keep it pretty classy. And there's no doubt that at some point somebody's going to try to get in my head and this and that. But I feel like, that doesn't really have any effect on me. Like, because I don't fight. I just fight because I love it. I fight because I enjoy it. It's because it's what I want to do. There's a lot of different things I could be doing right now. But I guess if, it just, to me, when I get into the ring, it's just emotionless. Like, it doesn't matter who my opponent is or what they've said. I want to win because of my own internal motivation, not to beat any guy or because they say anything. So anybody, any shit talk or whatever that somebody could say, it's really pretty irrelevant to me. And I feel like that's not really, it's just not relevant. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm here to win the fight, and I'm here to be, the UFC champion, the pound for pound #1 fighter in the world. Everything else to me, it means nothing. So when I see an opponent across, it's just like a body that I'm gonna go like maul. It doesn't even matter. It's not personal at all. So again, like this next dude, I'm super happy and grateful that he signed the fight. I really wouldn't. I don't understand why guys are agreeing to fight me. Hopefully the UFC's paying him well, and hopefully they can just
see. That's really good.
Yeah.
Passive aggressive shit talk right there.
Yeah, that's like I'm just like, I don't know. Like, what do they expect?
Why did these guys take this fight? I just don't get it. What they think they're gonna beat me?
Yeah, and I just think that too, like if they want to, I guess, talk, it's like it doesn't really matter because it's like, dude, you're gonna get the same me regardless. So it doesn't motivate me anymore or make me any more emotional about it. I don't know. You brought it up earlier. You try to get angry before fights, and
which was the biggest mistake I could have ever made.
Yeah, and so I feel like there's no point in that. So this person literally has like no relevance or nothing in my life. Like if I had a close friend that was talking crap, I'd be like, dude, like, we have a problem. Like that upsets me, but this guy's just a random dude. So you're getting it regardless.
Yeah. No, that's actually really smart. As you say, it's like this guy's nothing in your personal life. So why should that trigger your emotions? Yeah. No, very smart, very smart. So you're doing this for fun. You're doing this because you're a natural fighter, but are you a fan? Would you say you're a fan of mixed martial arts and the UFC?
I would definitely say I'm a fan. I love the sport. I've been watching MMA and the UFC for a long time, long time. And it's something that I really appreciate, the growth of the sport, the way it's changed and how it's become mainstream. And there's a lot of fighters and guys that I watch who I respect their skills. And I think that, it's exciting time to be part of the sport. And I feel like, it's exciting for me, the opportunity to hopefully continue to move that forward and push it forward into maybe, bringing more viewers in or into a new level of competitiveness or whatever it is. There's a lot of different ways that I think the sport can be pushed forward, but I think that hopefully I can be a part of that.
So when you're there at the T-Mobile Arena, it's UFC 300, you're going to have some special signature fight gear, you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of fanfare, pomp and circumstance and all the rest of it. And I'm bloody jealous because it takes me back to when I fought in UFC 100. But when you look at the fight card as a fan, which is the one that you're really most looking forward to?
Oh man, there's so many good ones. Oof, that's a good question. I think that as a fan, the fight I'm looking forward to the most, I'll name two. I think that Charles Oliveira and Arman Tysnurnuakn, that's a freaking amazing fight. Two guys that are so high level, well-rounded. Definitely, like I just mentioned, like kind of pushing that envelope and moving the sport forward. I think both these guys are doing that. And while they are both so skilled, I think they're both skilled in different areas. Obviously, you look at Oliveira, his ground game and, fighting off his back, submissions, elbows, big power on the feet. And then you look at Tysnurnuakn, showed big power from his last fight with Beneil Dariush, but also, just a really, really tough guy on the ground, more of a top guy. Has a takedown, took down Islam Makhachev, had a really close fight with Islam. So I mean, that fight, as far as skills go, I mean, that's definitely, to me, probably one of the highest level fights on the card.
No, 100% agree. So we're going to let you go in a minute, but I got to ask you this. So you came on here, you said you gave yourself a 3-year journey to become the champion. So now we're about a year into that. So now it's a 2-year journey. Everything's going to plan. You're still undefeated. You're on the biggest fight card to happen this year. The champion is Dricus Du Plessis. I almost said Sean Strickland. What am I saying? The champion is Dricus Du Plessis. Number one, what did you think about that fight with Sean and Dricus?
I thought it was a good fight. I think from my kind of outside view, it looked like Sean didn't really compete as well as he normally does. I think he's the underdog in a lot of his fights, and it's a different type of pressure and scenario when you're the champ and when you're the guy that people are coming from, or people are coming after. And so I don't feel like he put his best performance together. I think Dricus looks super motivated and he competed very well. But both guys to me are very beatable, and both guys, they do things well and they do things, not as well. I think for me, if I can continue to improve, get better, with my striking and just grappling overall. Obviously, my wrestling is a complete X factor. So I feel like both those guys have skills, but have holes. That's kind of the way I saw it.
Okay. So right now the champ is Dricus, and the top 5 is Dricus, Sean, Izzy, Whittaker, Jared Cannonier. Let's say 2 years, let's say 4 fights for yourself until you get a shot at the belt. Who do you think at that time will be the champion of the world? Have you envisaged that title fight, and who do you think it's going to be against?
I guess I'll say this first. I really don't care. It doesn't really matter because, like I said, it's not personal to me at all. Like, none of these guys really, I don't really want to beat any of those guys more than the next. Whoever has the belt is the guy I'll take out. But if I were to kind of have to, as a fan, again, predict who the champion would be, I kind of see the way this is going, this division. I feel like a guy that you didn't mention who could be up there is Khamzat. And,
yes,
a bad matchup for really all those guys. He would be a tough fight and a bad matchup for all those guys. And so I could see, him, depending on what he wants to do, if he wants to get back down to 170 or if he wants to just continue to fight at 85, I could see him, like I said, because he's a little bit ahead of me. He's in the rankings now and stuff. He'll probably fight for the belt within 1 or 2 fights. Like, it could be his next one. It could be one more. But I see him probably being the champ, and that's a dude that I would love to fight. I know I said that it's never personal for me, but he's a guy that I feel like just has this crazy reputation who I absolutely have to take out before my career's over. So ideally, we're both undefeated. It's for the belt. We do it in Allegiant Stadium, the Raiders Stadium, and in front of 100,000 people, and I just go do what I do. So that's, to me, like the goal. Again, if it's not him, doesn't really matter, but that would be ideal.
Yeah, and I'm smiling because, I mean, it makes all the sense in the world, and you're absolutely right. Stylistically, I think he does have the ability. Of course, you do as well. So that'd be great. So let me see right here. You're American. If you become the champion, it'll be another American champ. The other American champ that they had in the middleweight division was Sean Strickland. You could not be any different from Sean Strickland if you paid the price. Yeah, sorry, if you paid to be. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
What's your thoughts on America's champion?
I think that for me, I don't really pay attention to all the stuff outside. I saw he had a few interesting quotes in the media and stuff like that before his last fight. And honestly, for the most part, without saying it the way he said it, I agreed with a lot of what he said. I think that,
Careful.
Yeah. I wouldn't put it the way he put it, but I think that he's playing it up a little bit. He's doing his thing. For me, I'm always just going to continue to be myself, be organic and natural.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever play a character. And I feel like what's been really nice for me and fortunate for me is I haven't had to do that. And I've also had a big push and a lot of people that want to watch me and support me and stuff like that, probably because I had such a strong wrestling career and, now just that momentum coming from that. But yeah, I think that I'm never going to really like be judgmental towards a person because everybody's got to make their own choices and be their own person. But for me, I just want to be authentic, be myself. And like I said, I think that I'm in a great position because people actually enjoy that. They want to listen to me. They want to watch me fight. So I don't know, it's kind of a luxury that I'm grateful for.
Words of wisdom, profound, eloquent, articulate, a monster inside the octagon. Bo, we wish you all the success. Good luck at UFC 300. Thanks again for your time today. Really appreciate it. And yeah, have a great fight.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.